There's pieces that we do of me picking up the girl that I dance with and flinging her over my shoulders, standing up on top of me, like crazy awesome. Like, you wouldn't think that a guy in a wheelchair should be able to pick girls up and throw her around, but I'm kind of strong and she's really talented in what she does, so I mean, my job is just don't drop her.
I've always wanted to learn how to dance, but never knew how. It's fun. It's great to do it with other people and allows me to, enjoy myself and do something that I never thought would be possible.
Dancing is the most freeing experience I've had in my life. Everything just goes away and I'm free.
I say it's a stress reliever, but as far as really fun things to do, I'd say this would be it. This would be it.
I think I told her that I was really proud of not running over her toes once, and then I ran them over 3 times in a row that day. But, I mean, I do crazy things in wheelchairs. My biggest motivation is someone saying, oh, you can't do that. And be like, I will find a way to get this done.
I've enjoyed dance on many levels. I liked to dance before I was injured, but my view of dance was extremely narrow. It was you are out at a bar, at a club, and are just moving around with people. And I thought I was decent at it, but I never took it for the elaborate process that I've learned in ballroom dance.
So in 1993, I was 7 years old. I started dancing, and since then it's been my life. I mean, with everything that we deal with in life, whether you have a disability or not, dance for me, it's been my saving grace.
I love dance, and I love people here. The more and more I dance, it helps me. It does help me with the connecting of the hands, because I'm very touch sensitive. So it helps more and more I do it. It also helps me release my worries for a period of time.
I was in the Army 2001 to 2002, and I got a vaccine that paralyzed me. I got lead and mercury poisoning, so I've got some memory loss from the mercury. The lead gave me paralysis. Slowly getting better. I can walk with leg braces. I'll dance with these guys for hours on end, doing some of the dances that we do and rehearsing for, and you leave and you're totally relaxed and at peace. It's awesome. Everyone goes through a struggle. Everything happens in life, but it's not what happened to you. It's how you deal with it. And I mean, it's unfortunate that I've been sitting down for 9 years, but the things that I've been able to do sitting down, I never thought I would do this in life. I mean, I'm just really happy that I have dance. I play sled hockey and other things, but it doesn't do the other side of the scale. I got the anger outlet, but this outlet helps me a lot more.
I'm physically disabled. I have spina bifida. And I've been with roll call for 2 years. When I was younger, I had, because of my disability and other issues that come along with my disability, I've had a lot of surgeries. People would actually be shocked at the amount of surgeries that I've had. Just because you have a disability, doesn't matter what it is, anything is possible. Anything.
I have a physical disability, which is spina bifida, so it's a birth defect. Your spine doesn't fully close at birth. So right away, that's when the paralysis happens, in utero.
Oh, I would have signed up about 20 years ago if they started this. It's that much fun. It brings me out of my shell, because I'm a very shy person at times. I like the communication and the hand-to-hand aspect of the whole thing.
I was about 22 when I really started developing symptoms of the spinal cord injury. I was obviously distraught about the situation, surprised by it. I had always been very healthy, and when I found that I had a spinal cord injury, I didn't know how to approach it. It wasn't something I had experienced or something I had expected to happen in my wildest dreams. But the truth is, there are a myriad of ways to, regardless of whatever your disability is, have a great and full life.
So I have a spinal cord injury, obviously, because of the wheelchair, but I also have a traumatic brain injury. So I don't really remember much before the night of my accident. We all went out for my birthday and a couple of my other friends. We ended up getting in a car accident. We ran off the highway, and that was pretty much it. From that moment on, I was paralyzed. Yeah, I learned how to do all the ballroom dances, the waltz, the foxtrot. I mean, you meet people. You're a fan of dressing up and going out to events and galas and, ballrooms, things like that. That's always fun. Even if it's you dancing, it's fun for you, but other people like to watch.
It's fun just being a part of, they like to say they have a dancing family, and it's always welcoming to be a part of it, regardless of what your disability level is. I have a background in martial arts, so the translation of understanding body mechanics was really useful for me, because a lot of leading and following is just understanding how bodies interact with each other.
I was okay until I was 10 years old, and then I developed a very rare case that have this type of seizure disorder, and I shake daily. So that's why I'm in the wheelchair. Dancing has helped me, once I get out there, it's like all those worries go away. I just perform to the best of my capabilities. Here in the studio, we've all become like one big family. So we all support each other, which is nice.
All my students that come here to me, I see them with abilities, and I never look at their disabilities, so I find out from my students every day how to teach. When you look at somebody in their eyes and their face and you're encouraging them, it's so gratifying. And then you touch them. And one of my things that I do with wheelchairs, basically when people are working with people in wheelchairs, they stand behind them and they push them and say, "Oh, hi, where would you like to go?" And that's part of their whole life, and then when you stand in front of them, that's a whole new view. And I see in their eyes their motivation, the smile, the gleam. Forget it, even if they can't smile. The gleam in their eye of the joy of moving to music, which I believe is the real secret. Even if you're trapped in a body, you still have that pulse inside you, and it's the life, it's just the soul.
They're wonderful teachers. They really are. And also, the whole class teaches them. We teach each other. We like to have fun in the class. We're allowed to laugh and play around.
It's fun because most people don't realize you don't really have to use your wheelchair as much as because you're using the momentum of the other person, so you could still do it.
We asked everyone to check their egos and their disabilities at the door. Once they came in, whether they were rolling or standing, they were dancers. We challenged them tremendously across the board. For me, the minute I put a smile on their face. It's all I needed. We just follow them in their journey. As they come to us, we've done visually impaired, special needs, the developmentally disabled. They ask and we try to fill the demand. Specifically how we got roll call started, my dance teacher, John Nemchek, who is a world-renowned dance professional, received a call from a couple getting married, found that he was certified in wheelchair dance, and asked him to choreograph their wedding number. And so we started a program.
Some of the people that we dance with, they would never speak to us. And now they're saying words, and they're saying the steps, and they're saying the names of the dances.
I've seen it in their eyes, the benefit of being touched, talked to. There's no manifestation to fear unless you see it in a human being. So it could come out in their bodies, it can come out in their language, it can come out in their eyes, you can see the tightening of the lips and stuff. And you could break somebody and give them a crack, a smile, and get it out of them. For what, 1 second, you know you've beaten it. It just takes a little time to win the war.
That is what the activity of ballroom dancing does. You must touch another human being. You must have eye contact with them. And the music is the conversation, so there's no awkwardness. It's almost instantly successful. And for both parties involved, it builds a confidence that we never expected to happen so rapidly. Within a first class of an hour, we see our students transform into, they can't believe that they can do it, and they change their minds from what they can't do to what they can do.
I mean, me, when I go out to, clubs and bars with my friends, I'll always ask somebody to dance. And most women, they look at me like at first they think, no way. But then they realize, it's a confidence level, So after you get over that initial shock and, you're scared or you're fearful of it, you might as well. I mean, you might as well add things to your list because life is very, very short.
So what happens when you go around, you can help here if you like. The other thing is, when do I pull to come back? As I push my partner, stop. Stay right there. I don't pull now.
We can move perfectly comfortably together with very little, and what we're doing is we're both toning our arms.
So what happens is there's a time, I wait, now I can pull.
We always look back at each other.
It takes a knack and it takes time. And my seated partners, you know that. So when you're working with somebody who's standing, they may not be able to use those skills right away.
You made a lot of rotation, which is very advanced.
You still feel it here when you...
Correct, yeah. The strength is in the...
It's our job to tell them what we can and cannot do, what our limitations are.
I mean, I was someone who had a different body language when I saw someone in a wheelchair. I didn't know how to approach them years ago. So part of what we do through this whole organization is we build awareness to not have people be afraid to ask people with disabilities a normal question that you would ask anyone.
I've come across a lot of people who are tense, mainly because they've never danced with someone in a wheelchair, so they're not sure how to approach us because we're so much shorter than they are. So they're always kind of hunched over, almost like they're trying to make us comfortable, and I always tell them, stand up straight, don't be afraid to move us around. We're not gonna break.
I was just like anybody else. It was, oh my God, you know. I could see it on some people's faces when they come here to help out, that the whole thing with the public, you know, we look at that and we might feel pity, or we look at somebody and we might say, oh, well, you know, I'm glad it wasn't me. Or you look at them and say, oh, I hope it's not catchy. Is that weird? But the moment you interlock with another human being, I find, you know, it could be a gift.
The social media of Facebook was the biggest eye-opener to what impact we were having, because the students would banter back and forth, and naturally you can read what they're saying. So when you read, I never thought I could do this. I never thought I could call myself a dancer. I was at a wedding last week, and for the first time I was confident to join people on the floor. Parents writing, I've never seen my child so happy. This has changed my life.
It's a constant struggle, but it's also my biggest joy. I'm her caretaker, her best friend, and she's been there for me just as much as I've been there for her. She's had over 70 operations in her 29 years, and meeting John and Kathy Nemchek with roll call wheelchair dance has definitely been a high point in her adult life. This has made her feel complete as an adult, which is nice to see. She's very confident. She can go out on a dance floor and do things she never could do as a 10-year-old. As she gets older, she's more and more self-assured and confident. I think she'll be okay. I just want her to be happy. She spent probably her first 20 years in a hospital. 13 of her 18 birthdays were in a hospital. She may argue with me, she doesn't need a man to make her happy. She just needs to be happy. And I know that's the one thing that she thinks is missing in her life. But if I could just tell her that she's beautiful, accomplished, and just to be happy, whatever that means. If it means dancing, if it means working, if it means teaching, she loves to teach. That's all I want for her, is to truly be happy with who she is.
You know, it's funny. I talked a lot about that, and as much as I would love for that to happen, I don't know if it ever will.
No, I wish, but no, not yet.
Yes, we're all single.
It's definitely been hard because, you know, my able-bodied counterparts, as people sometimes refer to them, you know, I've seen them get married, have kids, and everything in life, and I'm always saying to myself, you know, I love that, but, you know, I'm trying to come to terms saying that it probably would never happen.
Maybe one day.
Surprisingly, most of our students are young, so that's another dynamic in itself. They have the same wishes as all young people. They want to have a social life, they want to have boyfriends, they want to have girlfriends, they want to go out. There's no different other than they just happen to be wheelchair users, either through some sort of disease or some sort of injury.
I have graduated high school and college. It was hard. I have to admit, it was hard. Took me 5 years to get a 2-year degree, but I did come away with my associate's degree in education with a concentration in psychology.
If you're able to be creative, you need to produce whatever you can and put it out there.
I want to do something in the arts, something to make people laugh and smile.
Professionally, I am a social worker. I work with people with disabilities, helping them get back into the workforce.
I like to produce small scale to large scale, whether that's writing, making music, talking, sometimes just having a conversation with someone and connecting the dots of information is enough to make the world move.
I'm very good on the computer, so maybe a graphic designer or something in that field.
I do drive independently too, so I actually am coming off of an injury for the last few months because I did fall out of the car due to the wind slamming the door shut, so it was kind of like a domino effect. So that type of thing, like everyday life, it does get challenging because you try to do as much as you can, but sometimes
people with seizure can't drive cars, or at least they're not supposed to.
I drive a Honda Element, so all I have in there really is the hand controls. I actually lift myself in and out of the car every day, multiple times a day, because as a social worker, I'm in and out of the car, meeting with clients in the community, things like that. So it's probably on a good day 20 times a day.
I run an accounting firm that I specifically devote to the nonprofit community. So last year, I was with my son Jeffrey, and what I noticed about him and all of his friends were that they were spending 100% of their time worried about grades and sports and competitiveness, and they were very stressed. So I said to Jeffrey, would you and a bunch of your friends like to get together and we'll do something? You know, they were enthusiastic, they were up for it, and I had pizza for them and soda for them, and so that kind of kept things going. So we formed Aurora Nonprofit Challenge. So they really got out there to see what do the nonprofits do. And roll call wheelchair dance really fit into the role of, you know, kids who have an interest in the performing arts. I thought would really be interested in, you know, doing something with roll call. And seeing the kids out there learning and actually seeing how they can do something and create something was really wonderful to see.
I'm an instructor for roll call. I've been dancing for forever. John is my father. My mother and father danced together professionally. So they grew up together as young children and danced around the world and throughout the United States, and they're U.S. champions. I've mostly done performing arts, but I've also done ballroom dancing, and we started it maybe 4 or 5 years ago, and it's just become a second passion of mine.
It actually just grew from one person to the other, and here we are like 4 years later. It's a non-for-profit organization. We work basically for the love of it, and I don't know, the talents just come out. I guess it was more like learning as we go. So.
I saw some of the dancers in there, and I just loved it, and I said, oh, maybe I want to try one day. So I came in one Sunday, met everybody who was there. I was a little nervous at first because I never did ballroom dance to begin with. So I was learning as they were learning, and we're all still learning together, and it's just a great experience.
A little overwhelmed and emotional. It was exciting, but nerve-wracking at the same time because I didn't want to hurt anyone, because everybody's abilities are different. So it takes a lot to talk to them and get to know them and what they are able to do, and then you work with that to make them stronger.
It's like everybody's wounded. Everybody's carrying baggage. They feel self-conscious about themselves or their body, or people are going to watch them. And when you start to think you're going to help people out of that.
I'm a standing dancer, but I know what it's like to be in a wheelchair. My spinal cord was damaged, and so I was paralyzed for a while. I think that's what makes it kind of unique, is that I can kind of relate to both positions and understand what it's like.
I see the good that it has done for them, the light that shines on their faces when they come in here. It's not even just always in the dancing, it's also just the conversations that are sparked between the students that come in, whether they're seated or standing. And I always try to look at the positive of how they've developed and how much their confidence has grown since they've walked through the door.
I've been with roll call since it started. Diane told me what she was doing, and I came on board right away because they needed volunteers. I am not a professional dancer. I've only started dancing at the age of 55. I was in a very low point in my life, and Diane said, you always like to dance, why don't you come to the studio, take some lessons? And I saw how it helped me. and now I see how it helps others.
I feel like we all have things that we can and can't do. So what I really try to do, and I encourage everybody that I work with, is to focus on the positive. And when people are down and not believing in themselves, that they don't think that they can actually do something, and working at it until they get it.
The people that you're serving, you get to love them. And there's nothing like giving something and then getting something in return that you had not expected that gives you such joy.
You want to learn how to see stuff? Teach a blind person. It's great. They help me see. And I know how blind I was. And you know, it sounds, like I said, it sounds like, wow, what's this guy talking about? But you can't see this stuff. It's crazy, but it's true. I'm lucky.
It has made me a better person. I have a totally different understanding of life. I feel very blessed.
For the most part, everybody that walks through the door usually walks out with a smile.
It's fun. It's very exciting. You kind of get like an adrenaline rush when you do it a little bit. But yeah, it's a lot of fun.
I would have to say thank God, because I'm loving what I'm doing.
Yeah, I work full-time. I've been at the same place for almost 8 years now. I do internet security, but I was unemployed for about 1.5 years when I first got paralyzed, and went to all kinds of, job fairs and interviews and everything, and my resume looks awesome, but as soon as I roll in there, they're immediately, oh, we've got stairs. And I'm like, I don't see any stairs. Yeah, there's stairs. You have an elevator? No? Okay. And as soon as they see you, all they think is, oh my God, my insurance is going to skyrocket. Not, oh, this guy, actually wants to go and be a productive part of society. I'll use my wheelchair for dance, for sled hockey, if it's snowing out. At the end of the day, when I'm done walking around and it's just time to shower and go to sleep, I'll take my legs off in the living room and get into my wheelchair and put the chair next to the bed, and that's it. I haven't really had a problem of finding a girl and being romantic and stuff like that. I'm happy that I can still do everything, and I think they look more for you're independent and you're funny and all kinds of other things, and okay, your legs don't work. But finally with a nice girl now, she's got a kid, and it's awesome. Like with a 4-year-old, I've already got like a starter pack. I didn't have to do the diapers and the potty training. It's just instant kid, like, what do you want to do? I want to play with trains. Yeah, I want to play with trains. She's like, you really want to just play with trains all day? I'm like, yeah, why not?
Twice. They are very forgiving. They teach us the basics, and then they kind of help you along with everything. So it's kind of been a lot of fun. performing. I liked it. Enjoyed it. I really did. I really do. What these guys do is amazing, and what Diane and John and the standing people do to help us out, awesome people, definitely.
I've only done the samba and the tango so far, so I enjoy the fast pace of both. The tango seems to be a little bit more, it has a little bit more attitude to it, so that's been fun. I have spina bifida. It's a birth defect, so I've had it my entire life. I'm paralyzed, but I don't necessarily see it as a situation that needs to be fixed. My view on my disability is I have it for a particular reason. I don't know if others feel that way, but I see it as my opportunity to help other individuals to do the best with what they have and to live a full life.
Working with seated partners and seeing what they do, it's like, it gives me courage. You know, sometimes if I'm having a bad day, sometimes it's just good to put music on and dance.
I grew up in a time when there was quite a bit of separation between the disabled and all the rest of the folks who did the work, of the world. But as I got older, I began to see that that is a false separation. Actually, we're all disabled to some degree. We're all in transit on a spectrum between very, very good health and the kind of disability and finally debility that means we can't even stay in this world anymore. So the categories, I think, are kind of naive.
What I did find was that there is no difference between a seated partner or a standing partner. We all love to dance. And what they've shown me is that so much beauty around, including them. Each person has something to give to us. And it's up to us to see that good.
You know, you hear the music, and the music reaches a spot in our brain that no other sound does. So when you have the music and the movement and the touch of another person, and you looking at them face to face, hand to hand, heart to heart, there's nothing better, and that's joy.
I'd like to see more people involved. It takes funds and it takes all that kind of stuff. I'm not going to beg for that.
Money is great. We wish we could finance the professionals for what they are worth and the amount of time that they put in. Sometimes we get funding, sometimes we don't. But everybody involved in the organization does it because they love it.
I opened up my studio. I started without anything, and I'm going to keep doing it if even one person comes through the door.
John has said we're going to do this with or without money. Our doors are open.
I've known Diane DiFranco for a very, very long time, before she even started to dance. So I said to Diane, how about we do a show? And of course, Diane said, sure, let's do a show. So I went to the kids and I said, who's interested in doing a show with roll call? And of course, the kids from Aurora, at least the original 15, what they do now is they always say to me, Mrs. Higgins, I've never done it before, but I'm willing to try.
I'm going to need a person.
We put up, sign-up sheets, and we ended up with kids signing up to dance, kids signing up, be stage manager, play bill. We're going to have a bake sale before the show. Somebody's managing the bake sale. All the different components to sort of get the show up and running.
So we each go around to the right. Well, first we do this, they do like, yes, you can left, right, then it's this.
That's this.
Thank you, Jamie.
My son, Leonard, at one time, when he first was in the chair, he was really giving up. He was thinking about not so good thoughts, and he decided he's going to either make a difference and make his life better or not, and he chose to work on it, and it was a long, long process to get better and better and think right and believe you can walk again.
Merrick loves it. Merrick will say, like, Glennie, where's your wheels? I want to push you around.
He pushes me up hills.
It's a miracle. I mean, he raised the money to get the robotic legs, and you got to look close to see that. Every time I see him, I get teared up just to see him walk, because he sat in that chair for 10 years. And you can't give up hope. There's always hope. There's always something new next year, next month. Who knows?
How much $6? Okay, sure.
This is my first time trying to dance in a wheelchair. I tried to do my best. My spinal cord is damaged, so I'm paraplegic from my waist down. I used to cut trees, and a limb fell on my back, and that's how I end up paraplegic. It's been 9 years ago.
Yes, that's coming on right now.
Great journey for me, and I can't tell you how much it's helped me personally.
Anything is possible. You just have to be willing to give it a try. Even if you don't think you can do it, give it a try. You'll surprise yourself.
Everyone can dance, no matter how old, how young, in a wheelchair, not in a wheelchair.
It puts a smile on my face, and it's my favorite day of the week, coming and working with everyone here. So it's just something for everyone to try.
Don't give up on us.